What was supposed to be a fun adult sleepover with friends ended with one black woman dead and so many questions unanswered. Yes, this is the story of Tamla Horsford. In this video, we're going to talk about the unbelievable details and one powerful life lesson we can all learn from this to protect ourselves. Before we do, hi, I'm Victor Dream, and my mission is to help us become empowered and inspired by learning from powerful stories just like this one. Now let's get into it. In November of 2018, a 40-year-old woman named Tamla Horsford attended an adults-only football watch party with her friends. This was a sleepover in Georgia. Sounds amazing. She was one of about 12 guests. An important part of this story is that Tamla was the only black woman at this gathering, while the other guests appeared to be white. So the evening appeared completely normal. Everyone was reportedly having fun. They're drinking, they ate, they watched football, they laughed together, and eventually everyone decided to spend the night together instead of driving home. Here's a picture of Tamla sitting on the couch with her pajamas, looking relaxed, smiling with everyone, and it's kind of gruesome when you look at this photo and realize what happens just hours later. Sadly, Tamla never made it home after this photo. The next morning, her body was discovered dead at the bottom of a deck, a two-story deck in the backyard. According to authorities, what they were told is that she fell from the deck during the night, and they ruled that her death was accidental. But girl, when people started hearing the story, they were asking lots of questions. People were like, there were 12 people staying at the house and they're together. How did no one reportedly hear anything, call the police, call the ambulance? If she really fell from a second-story deck, how did nobody wake up? And so many questions are left unanswered. Did she simply fall, or did someone push her? How did she end up outside in the first place? Something sounds weird and strange. And so the story went viral. Social media took off. Hundreds of thousands of people signed a petition to get this case heard, and it worked. The pressure became so intense that the state of Georgia reviewed the case again. And according to officials, investigators still found no evidence of foul play and continued to classify Tamla's death as accidental. Many people in the black community are noticing a pattern where we're having weird, strange cases where we're going missing and ending up dead. And we feel that, investigators are not looking into it or taking our lives seriously. They're not giving us the same transparency and care. And stories like this keep happening. This story gained even more attention recently, 6 years later, because another case of a 19-year-old named Nolan Wells went on a boat trip with his group of white friends and ended up disappearing and never came back home and ended up dead. And so people are like, whoa, this is another Tamla Horsford situation happening in 2026. What the hell is going on with our world? So what can we learn from this story to improve our own lives? Lesson number one. Choose your inner circle carefully. Yes, not everyone deserves access to you. Be intentional about whose home you enter, who you travel with, who you party with, because here's the truth. Every single year, people become victims of violence, disappearance, death, manipulation, betrayal, kidnapping, abuse at the hands of people that they know. That's why we have to strengthen our intuition. We have to notice red flags early in our friendships. When something feels off, we have to pay attention. We have to ask ourselves, are their words matching their actions? Are they showing violence in their other relationships? How do they treat other people? Because if someone is consistently dishonest, disrespectful, or abusive towards others, there's a good chance that will one day become you. And so we get to learn from a Tamla Horsford and Nolan Wells. And the most important lesson I learned this year personally was that I have to have high standards in my friendships like I do my dating relationships. Those same standards of reliability, good communication, emotional regulation. Are they consistent and reliable with their word? Do they have good character and morals? These are all standards that's important for us because toxic friendships can damage your life just as much as toxic romantic relationships. Sometimes even more because we trust them more. And friends can oftentimes be in our life a lot longer than a romantic relationship. And for some odd reason, many of us give our friendships a lot more grace. We excuse disrespect. We ignore red flags. We tell ourselves, oh, that's just how they are. But eventually that toxicity catches up with us. And it's important because we're the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And so we have to be specific and careful and picky about who we spend the most time with. The people around us influence our thinking, our confidence, our habits, our safety, and sometimes even our future. Choose people who protect your peace, celebrate your success, genuinely want to see you make it home safely. Comment below your thoughts on this story. What lessons did you take away from this Tamla Horsford case? And comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you at the next video. Mwah.